Oh, it's a bit dark and overcast today, and we might get rained on, but that's okay. We don't mind rain. Hi folks, welcome back. Keith here from Dual Sport Journey, and as promised, we are going to do the 1,000 plus mile review on the Honda SCL500. So mostly what I want to do on this review is obviously give you some of my thoughts now that I've got well over 1,000 miles on the bike, but I also want to answer some questions that we've been getting in the comments on some of the videos here on the SCL500. So first, right off the bat, how much is it? The MSRP for the Honda SCL500 in the United States is, I believe at this time, the time of recording, is $6,799 US. So out the door price from a dealer, your guess is as good as mine. I mean, it's gonna vary from state to state, from dealer to dealer, and you're just gonna have to get a hold of your local dealer, shop around, and you know, see for yourself as far as out the door price. I think here in New York State, you know, we pay like a 8 or more % sales tax. So out the door price for me, with the dealer fees and tax and plates and registration, all that other stuff, well, I think was a little more than $8,000, around $8,000 out the door. So having said that, and having put this many miles on this bike so far, I can say without a doubt this is a great value. Personally, I believe you're getting a lot of bike for that money, which kind of takes me into another little topic here of service. How expensive is this bike to ride and own? It's a very economical little bike. I mean, with your mid-size engine, you know, you're going to be getting great gas mileage. Let's just pass some cars here. Not to get too off topic here, but as you can see, passing vehicles, it's no sweat. You're not underpowered with this motorcycle. But anyways, getting back to the service needs. You know, you've got your break-in service at around 500 or 600 miles. And then not another service for around, I believe, like 6,000 or 7,000 miles or so. I mean, the only really thing you have to do every few hundred miles is clean and inspect the chain. Keeping a properly cleaned and lubed chain is really critical to get the most life out of your drive chain. And I can say that I did have to adjust the chain around 200 or 300 miles, which is totally expected. You know, the chains, when they're new, they stretch a bit until they break in a little bit, and you know, they get a bit hardened with use. So I adjusted the chain around 200 or 300 miles, and again at around 500 or 600 miles. A very little bit at 500 or 600 miles, not much. And since the last adjustment I made at around 500 or 600 miles, it hasn't really loosened at all. I mean, I haven't had to adjust it at all. And I always check the chain every time I ride on any motorcycle. So the other thing I want to mention is the suspension. The suspension was, you know, was quite stiff when I drove this off the dealer lot, as expected, a brand new bike, but it broke in quickly. And I can tell you right now, I may adjust the preload on the shocks, because for my riding style and my weight, it seems maybe just a little too soft. I'm feeling some bouncing, some long bouncing, and a little bit of swaying, you know, and tight cornering. Nothing bad or dangerous. You know, it's just noticeable. So I'll probably adjust the preload just up one, and then I'll let you know later in a later video how that works out. But I really think that that's going to take care of it just fine. I mean, it's soft and manageable, you know. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it right now, but I just think for my riding style, I might try just bumping the preload up just one notch. So I do want to add also on the servicing end of this conversation, even if you didn't do any of the servicing yourself and took it to the dealer for everything, it would still be very economical, you know, to own this bike. Now, there's a lot of things you can do yourself. Cleaning and adjusting the chain is definitely just one thing that you should get in the habit of doing and learn how to do, get in the habit of doing. That'll save you a lot of maintenance down the road. And also oil changes. I found oil changes to be just a breeze on this bike, and I think you will too. So those are two things that you can do right off the bat. It's going to save you quite a bit of money while owning and riding this motorcycle. Oh, one question that I've gotten a few times too is, how is the vibrations on the bike? Well, I can tell you, I don't notice any vibration at all on this bike. The foot pegs are great. They're wide, and they're a lot of room on them, and they have the rubber inserts. And for now, I've left the rubber inserts right in the foot pegs. So that obviously is going to soak up a lot of vibration. But even in my hands, you know, this is all stock here. This is stock grips, and I don't feel any vibration at all. Even when I get up 65, 70 miles an hour or more, I don't feel it in the seat. I don't feel it in my feet. I don't feel it in my hands. Now, you have to realize, you know, I ride a lot of single cylinder, what we call thumper bikes. As an example, my DRZ400 out on the highway at highway speeds, it'll vibrate so much it'll make your hands numb after a while. I mean, after just a few minutes, you know. So coming off of something like that onto this, obviously, you know, it's going to be a bit dramatic, but even after riding just this and getting used to it, the vibrations just aren't there. This 471cc parallel twin engine is really designed to soak up, you know, a lot of that vibration. It's counterbalanced, and it's just a super smooth engine. So let's just talk about the tires for a minute. You know, the stock tires that come on this bike are not like dual sport tires. I mean, they're made to kind of look like dual sport tires. The tread is really shallow. They're not really dual sport tires. I mean, as much as I want to take this bike a little more off-road, until I get some better tires on it, I'm just not going to. I don't really feel comfortable. I mean, I feel perfectly comfortable taking it on some dirt roads, some gravel roads. That's fine. And just a little off-road if it's not real wet. But if you come into mud, forget it. You know, these tires will pack right up, and they'll be like running slicks. So just keep that in mind. So one other question I've been getting is this bike gonna be okay for interstate highways? And absolutely yes. I mean, I've driven my DRZ400 and even the KLX230 out on interstates. Even the review I did on the little 200cc KPM 200. I've rode that out on the interstates before, and I don't feel uncomfortable at all. So this obviously is going to be no problem. In fact, we'll head up here and jump on interstate. So I want to show you that you can start from a dead stop onto the and then onto the ramp, and be going at the speed of traffic by the time you hit the hit the interstate. In other words, it's got plenty of power to allow you to merge into traffic safely. So keep in mind also that this is New York State and our state speed limit is 65 miles an hour. So our interstate speed limit will be 65. I know some states are more, and I still wouldn't feel uncomfortable if this was 75 mile an hour speed limit. I wouldn't feel uncomfortable at all on this bike. So the exit's up here on our right, so we're just gonna pull over, let traffic go by here, and stop right in front of the exit. Okay, right from the stop, let's go. I'm catching right up with this car. I'm not even trying here. Well, as you can see, there's not much traffic, but we were able to very easily and safely merge onto the interstate. I wouldn't feel uncomfortable at all, even if there was a lot of traffic. But like I've said before, this is rural upstate New York, so even our interstates aren't that busy. You have to go near one of the larger cities in upstate before you'll get heavy traffic on a lot of our interstates. So I'm cruising right along at about 67, 68, between 66 and 68 miles an hour. It doesn't feel like the engine is over revving at all. Again, I'm not feeling the vibrations. It just feels great. And here we are at about 70 miles an hour. And I'd feel perfectly comfortable cruising at that speed all day long if the speed limits permitted it. So there's an exit up here. And we'll just go ahead and take that exit. We'll turn around and get on the ramp to come back in the opposite direction. This is the beautiful little town of Bainbridge, New York. Okay, we're just gonna come up here to this exit, and again we'll come to a stop. Okay, a stop. And there we are, 65, way before we actually hit the interstate. 68. Looks like traffic is traveling at about 70. So we're just gonna merge right in here at 71, 70 miles an hour or so. No problem whatsoever. So I really hope that that answers that question. Really, if you have any question about taking this bike out on the highways, or out on the interstates rather, you should not be intimidated at all with taking this out on the interstates. This is such a great little bike. I am so keeping this bike. And this is where the Unadilla River meets the Susquehanna. Something about when I get behind log trucks, oh, thank goodness he's turning into this mill up here. Yeah, I'm old enough where, you know, my time goes back to the cult classic Final Destination, so I get a little nervous when I'm behind trucks like this. And if I forgot to mention, we are traveling in the Unadilla River Valley on State Highway 8 that runs north and south. And you've probably heard me mention in other videos, it's just such a beautiful valley to drive through. I mean, it's mostly rural and farmland. And you have these beautiful mountains on the east and west side of you. It's just a beautiful road to ride. I'm really looking forward to getting the fender rack mounted on this bike and put maybe a larger bag on there just to give me a little more carrying capacity, because I do plan on taking this trips up north and doing some light adventure riding with it. I see the accessories for this bike online. However, availability is not that great here in the States currently. So I am looking forward to better availability or more availability to the accessories that are offered for this bike. And I think there'll be a lot more aftermarket stuff to come down the line as well. And I think it's just going to take a little time. I really want to take a minute and thank all of you out there for your support. Thank you for coming along with me on these rides. If there's anything specific that you'd like to know about this bike or some of the other bikes in my video content, please go ahead and drop a comment. I really do try to reply to every comment that comes in. And I have quite a lot of content planned as well. So I hope you'll join me in the future. Until then, as always, be safe.
Oh, it's a beautiful day. Oh, don't let it slip away. Time that you walked out that door, tell me what you're waiting for. Oh, it's a beautiful day. It's gonna be hard for you. Let's go.